All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Ebony, a.k.a. Fit Mom Diva of Simplicity Health Style, and today we have Miss Yasmin. Yasmin, how are you today?
Hi, I'm doing well today. Thank you. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing some expertise and gems with us. You guys, Yasmin's sister Rachel was being interviewed not too long ago, and it's a small world that I was actually able to connect with Yasmin. So I would love it. I'm going to include her sister's, all her sister's information in the description box as well if you want to collaborate and connect with her. But listen to the end, because if you listen to the end, you might even have an opportunity to earn a complimentary gift. And Yasmin has taken some valuable time out of her day to share some tools with us. Yasmin, start us off just by sharing one motivational quote that really inspires you or motivates you so that we can learn a little bit more about you.
Sure. I actually don't know by heart, so I have to read it to you. But one of my favorite quotes is by Soledad O'Brien,
I love her.
and it says, "I've learned that fear limits you and your vision. It serves as blinders to what may be just a few steps down the road for you. The journey is valuable, but believing in your talents, your abilities, and your self-worth can empower you to walk down an even brighter path, transforming your fear into freedom." How great is that? That's my
Yes,
quote.
that is awesome. Wow, awesome person. I had the opportunity to meet Soledad O'Brien a few years ago. Me and my daughter
Really?
met her at an event and took pictures with her and had a couple of words with her. She's just such a pleasant soul. She
Aw.
she's very inspirational. And I love that quote, and that's something that I believe that all of us can resonate with. Can you
Mhm.
talk a little bit about a time where perhaps you were fearful and you didn't necessarily see the light at the end of the tunnel and had to overcome some obstacles, but at the end of the day, you were able to bring that goal or that dream to fruition?
Yeah, sure. The biggest moment that comes to mind is probably one of the reasons why I chose this quote. Um, when I had my son 5 years ago, I, had everything planned. I thought everything was going to go fine. And I found myself being in the hospital for the next 3 weeks after delivering him and being in ICU for two of them. So I, it was a lot going on, but basically I had a tube up my nose and, it was just really dramatic. And it was a really terrifying experience because I had a blood transfusion, I had another surgery. It was everything that I thought was going to happen did not. And it went totally to the left to where I came in one moment, I was having a baby. Next minute, I'm fighting for my life. And during that time when I was in the hospital, one of the things that just kept ringing in my head was that if I died in the hospital right now, did I really achieve everything I wanted to do? Because I've had these dreams of wanting to, well, one of them is to be a professional baker and to own my own bakery one day. So I was baking and things like that. I was three quarters into culinary school at the Art Institute. So I was, pursuing those things, on the side while working full time. And then I got pregnant halfway through, so it was like I had to put that on hold. And then the fact that I'm in the hospital,
Yeah.
fighting for my life. I'm like, man, like, is this really the end for me? Is this really it? And I just knew that I was like, okay, God, I was like, I gotta go home. I was like, this is not how my story is supposed to end. It's not supposed to. And
Right.
I just kept thinking, I'm like, man, I just really didn't get a chance to really pursue the dreams that I wanted. Like I was on it, I was doing it, but I didn't, I was still kind of like in the beginning stage of it. So um, that motivation kind of kept, me going like through the hospital and just wanted to go home and, see my son and, just wanting to live. I wanted to live. So that was my motivation. And I knew that if I had a chance to go home, I would take the opportunity to get myself back on track and to pursue what it is that I love and what makes me happy. And along the way, after I got out the hospital and I was healing and things like that, it was a longer journey than I expected. It was more mental than it was physical because I was in a small room for 2 weeks with tubes everywhere, doctors coming in every hour, they're checking on me. You see confused faces, you start to know the nurses by names and what their schedules are, like I was just there for a really long time.
Yeah.
And there's certain moments that were really painful that still, like, I can see it. I can remember how I felt. I just remember those things. So it was really traumatic for me. So it just took a long time to get back on track. So just to kind of speed up the answer a little bit, I had to really kind of get myself together and mentally back on track and not be so upset with the fact that this happened to me. Like, this is my story. This is my birth story. So either I can be upset about it and let that, just deter me or get me off track, or I could use that as empowerment and excitement, the fact that I'm still here and I have another chance to pursue my dreams. So, before I was always kind of timid, a little scared, not really as confident as I should be. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do whatever it takes to get myself where it is that I want to be. So along the way of that healing process, I found this quote, and I just love it because since I found what I love to do, I feel so much more free. I feel the freedom in myself, like who I am as a person. Mentally, I'm just a much happier person, just doing what I love. And that's what it is. It's like when you believe in your talents and your abilities, you can do anything. It's okay to be fearful, but you can't let that stop you from doing what it is that you want to do. So it's all a journey. You just have to work through the fear and just keep working at it every day.
Yeah, and that's really true that, you're always going to experience some fear because that's just the way that human beings are wired, for survival purposes from way back when. Right. And it serves as a purpose so that we don't, make any crazy risky decisions that will impact our life on this earth. So it is something that is practical in certain situations. But when it comes to living out our purpose and utilizing our gifts, we can't let fear override us, because those are the things that are going to allow us to have that, like you said, that fulfillment and that freedom and that just sense of joy and excitement and happiness about our life. And then when things come in and try to disturb that peace, it doesn't last for very long, because as soon as you get right back to your gifts and your passion and your hobbies, it's something that, again, lights you up. And so I think that the most important thing for people these days is to really discover what it is that is their gift that lights them up, that they can bring to this world.
Right.
I often say that we're never going to have a perfect life. It's not like everything's going to go perfectly. So how better would it be for you to be living in your purpose and the gifts that you share with this world, so that when those situations come, it's not as difficult of a ride?
Yeah.
What would you say to people, though, that don't necessarily have a very strong support system? So maybe they've wanted to be a baker since they were 8 years old, or they wanted to be whatever it is since they were 8 years old, and they just haven't made any motion with it. And they're finding that they really don't have a lot of family or friends or local support that they believe will be able to help them through the process.
Well, first of all, I think it's all about perspective. Sometimes people want to support you, but they just don't know how, or they may not know that this is what you do. So everyone's situation is different. I would just start there, then first just put it out there. You don't have to say, hey, this is what I'm doing now on social media, but you can just like for me, I wanted to get back into art and baking, and I wanted people to ask me to bake. Instead of asking people, hey, can I do this for you? I just started showing people that I'm baking, I'm learning, and I'm perfecting my craft. So now people ask me to do these things. They ask me to teach a painting class here and there, or to bake desserts for, their family's occasion, because they've seen that I've been doing the work. So it's like now they're supporting me. So, in the beginning, some people knew about it because I would bring desserts to, any friends and family event or whatever, just for fun, during college. So all my friends knew, okay, yes, she does cupcakes, she does brownies, like, yes, like she's good, but there was a time where it all kind of stopped and I was kind of quiet for a while, so a lot of people probably forgot about it, or just new people that are in my life, they just didn't know that I have these talents, you know what I mean? Right. And so, I just put myself, and even too with my husband, like he knew that I did these things before, and he knew that I enjoyed it, but I don't think he really understood in the very beginning that no, this is like very much a part of who I am as a person, and I'm a creative and I need to let it out.
Right.
And that was kind of my fault, you know, but I had to bring him on board and show him that, oh, okay, one day, you know, this can really be something that I can do for real. And for me, I just took it as a challenge, like, okay, I have to show him so that
Right.
he can believe in my talents, you know, because I wasn't going to classes, I wasn't painting, you know, or baking very often. So it was like, okay, I have to do it for myself to get my skill up there and just to show people that, hey, this is what I'm doing and I'm working to be great at it. And one day, you know, in the back of my head, I'm hoping that I can share it with other people. So if you don't have a support system, I don't think that people should get discouraged right away. It just might be one of those situations where they don't know or they don't know how. And, you know, just start sharing what it is that you do. And over time, people will jump on board, especially if you're really good at it.
Right.
People will jump on board and they'll be like, hey, you know, I want to support you. And it doesn't mean that it has to be monetary. It
Right.
doesn't have to be, you know, certain things. It could just be sharing your business with somebody else, or, you know,
Right.
it doesn't matter. There's different levels of support. So I would just start there and then just reach out, make connections, and use at least the resources that you have for that moment and take it one step at a time.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you bring up baking. One of my neighbors came over to my house yesterday because she saw me taking groceries out of the trunk of my car, and her 18-year-old daughter actually bakes cupcakes and cakes
Oh,
in the house, and she does a really good job. Like, it's actually an established business that they sell the cupcakes in our neighborhood every first Tuesday of the month for the local community event that we have.
okay.
And you know, she just gave them to me just to try, and now I'm sold on them. I'm like, these are really good. And so I felt like, you know, you extending yourself to people and letting them know what you do, and then, you know, offering them a sample, and if they like it, then they're bound to refer people to you. I mean,
Right.
I just had sample yesterday, and I'm already thinking about, oh yes, I know this person and that person. You
Hmm.
know, so I think that believing in yourself and just having that confidence to put it out there into the world that this is what I do, and being unashamed about what your talent and your gift is. I think that that's a quick way for people to recognize what your talents are, as opposed to you just sitting back saying, oh well, you know, I put an advertisement out in Yellow Pages or online, and I'll just sit around and wait for people to find me.
Yeah.
People
No,
are
see, that's the thing I think some people kind of misconstrue. Like you can put things out, but if no one knows about you, they're probably not going to choose you. You know,
right,
sometimes you have to do the work and really kind of prove it to people. You know,
right,
so it starts with the people that you know, because that's how you're going to get people that you don't know. So, you know, you got to just get out there and just talk to people and don't be ashamed of it, even if it's something, you know, silly or that you think is silly or is not a cultural norm. It's how confident you are, you know,
right,
in yourself. People will. There's some people out there that will support you. You just have to believe in you.
right. Exactly, exactly. What about people that have put themselves out there and they believe in their dream, but they're finding it difficult to manage their schedule? Because particularly with women, they feel like, well, you know, I'm taking care of my spouse, I'm taking care of my children, I'm taking care of my aging parents, I'm trying to have a social life, have a 40-hour-a-week job. I have all these different things that are going on in my life, and I really want for this to happen. What kind of words of encouragement would you give to those people that are just looking for, okay, how can I balance all of this?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think balance for everyone else is different. I think it starts with what's important to you and start from there. Like I'm a mom of a 5-year-old. So, you know, even though he's independent, I still, you know, I still have to look after him and make sure he's not jumping off the couch or, whatever, little boys do, like
Right.
he's always into something, and, I'm married and, I'm trying to spend time with family at the same time. I'm working, but I also have two really great passions that make me happy. And if I don't spend time doing those things, I can't be the happiest person or the most pleasant person or the easiest to be around sometimes because I didn't feed into myself. So
Right.
with me trying to build a business with those two things, it's really important for me to find some sort of balance. Now that balance never looks the same. It just
Right.
depends on the day, so I really just try to prioritize everything and I don't try to beat myself up for things that I don't get to in the day.
Right.
So I learned from being an assistant for a long time. I have a super detailed task list that I start off with, and I just start creating some sort of structure that enables me to still know what I'm supposed to be doing and what's important, but then it leaves some room for the unexpected or things that take a long time to do, or, sometimes I might be up really, really late. I'm a night owl. I hate being a morning person. I hate getting up in the morning, but I do. But I can stay up a lot later than I can get up earlier in the morning. So I found my creative hour is at night when everyone is asleep and
Right.
no one's coming in to ask me for anything, or sometimes it's super early in the morning. So sometimes I have to make those kind of sacrifices in order to make things happen,
Right.
So I would tell that person to start with prioritizing what's important and really start blocking out some time and really commit yourself to building your business and what it is that you want to do, but also make sure that you're spending time with family, if you're a parent or even friends. Sometimes you got to make just a little bit of time, not a lot of time. It might be once
Right.
a month or once every, couple of weeks for friends and things like that. But even, being married, I have to be mindful of the time that I'm spending and dedicated to other things. And
Right.
otherwise they'll feel neglected. So I really try to make sure that I'm cognizant, and I think I'm doing a really good job of that. Sometimes I could do better though. But I try to be mindful of especially where I am in my mindset, so that I am present with them and that I'm also achieving things that I need to do. So sometimes I get behind, but I try not to beat myself up for that. I just try to take it one step at a time and just keep moving forward the best way I can.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. I think that when you do identify what that thing is that lights you up and you add even just 15 minutes a day sometimes of whatever that thing is, that
Yeah,
provides you with that sense of, I did my thing today and now I could cater to everybody else around
yeah,
me. But
it
when you
really
don't
makes a
do that
difference.
thing, especially if it goes over into days and months that you're not doing that thing that lights you up, that leads to a whole different Yasmin, right?
Yeah, like people even tell me now, like, oh, you seem much happier than what you used to be. Like, I'm always kind of like happy and, in a good mood, but people just tell me like something is different about me now. And I contribute that one thing to I'm finally like making the effort and a lot of effort, I should say, to into myself. Like I'm feeding myself. I
Right.
found what makes me happy. I found what makes me light up with everyone else. I'm so
Right.
much better because I have taken the time to incorporate those things into my life on a regular basis. So I can even feel it after a few days or a few weeks. Like I haven't painted anything in like probably 3 weeks or a month or something, and I feel it, but I've been baking, so it's kind of keeping me, afloat there. But I'm like dying to pick up a paintbrush right now just to continue painting because it's just so important to me. No matter what I'm doing for the rest of my life, I'm always going to be baking and painting because I know that that is who I am. It's a part of me, and that is what I can offer to the world. So I have to do it. I owe it to myself.
Right. Yes. Thank you so much for sharing your gifts with us. And as you talk, I could just tell that this is like your thing. Sometimes people will fall into the trap of, oh, well, maybe I should do this over here because I see it's lucrative and these people are doing it and they're excelling in it. But then you're still seeking outside of yourself. It's so important to look within and really determine what that thing is, whether you think it's lucrative or not. Don't base it off of, is it lucrative and how successful you're going to be because all these other people over here are successful at it. Because when the challenges come, you may not be able to keep up with that same pace. So finding what it is that you love, you will always be able to make it lucrative because it's something that you enjoy doing, and you're going to put so much more energy and heart into it. So I love that you actually notice that about yourself. You take the time and the effort to, as you said, to feed yourself. It's like feeding your soul.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone that's listening, you guys will have an opportunity to collaborate and connect with Yasmin if you'd like. And I hope that at some point in time, you will ship some of your dirt so that I can try it over here in Florida. I would love to be able to sample. You guys, when I'm on Instagram and I'm looking through and I come across some cookies that Yasmin just posted, I'm thinking I wasn't even hungry. But I got me thinking about some chocolate chip cookies. That happened the other day. I would love for people to be able to collaborate with you in some kind of way, and for you to be able to extend your services even outside of your local community. And all of her contact information is going to be right there in the description box. If you do want to collaborate with her in some way, please feel free to do so. What you'll notice is that you'll see my link as well, Nutrition, the number 4, Busy Women. That's a Facebook group where we have all different kinds of contests, and it's a community of like-minded, purpose-driven women. So no matter what it is that we want to put into this world, we're always empowering, supporting, and inspiring each other. And I invite you to join that as well. It's not just talking about nutrition from a food consumption standpoint. We're talking about nutrition for the mind, body, and soul. So if you want to be a part of my community and get that online encouragement that you sometimes need, particularly when you fall short, I invite you to join us. And if you would like to share your experiences, your successes, your challenges, or any stories that you want to put out there to the world to empower women, please feel free to connect with me as well. Yasmin, do you have any last words of encouragement that you want to provide to us?
I would just say for anyone listening, if you could take anything from me and being introduced to me, is take the time out for you and do what you love. Your future self will thank you for it.
Yes, thank you. And those are awesome last words of encouragement. And if you don't believe her, I promise you that if you are to take any kind of career or life purpose assessment that I provide as becoming a member of my Facebook group, we will identify what that theme is that lights you up. I'm going to ask you to just try it for a week or two and see how much better your week improves. And then you tell me if Yasmin is lying or not. It's inevitable that your life will improve. I can tell you that 100%. Anyway, wherever you guys are in the world, I hope you have an awesome rest of the day. Share this episode with your friends and family that you believe can benefit. And again, I encourage you to collaborate with Yasmin and I if you're looking for a community of purpose-driven, like-minded women. You guys have an awesome rest of the day wherever you are in the world. And don't forget to always live a life full of meaning and purpose. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.